I need a little R&R, some rest and relaxation, but that'll come later when I can afford a vacation. But right now, I'm too busy searching for humanity's saving grace. So, smiling in this rat race, the sundial says 11:53, 7 minutes to midnight. Stargazing, seven fireballs descending from the heavens over seven seas. Seven wonders transcending 7 years of pestilence and war, spawning 7 days of learning from seven angel sages. Inverted swastikas and other sacred symbols serve as antithesis to the ideals of a higher moral purpose. Stars and stripes unite in the absence of color. We will not step in line as speechless zombies, but as single-minded individuals. We will march with the masses in free-form fashion for this far-fetched thought of equal opportunity. Freedom is my passion. I'm calling for a second summer of love, lasts and perennially. Call me crazy, but this is my philosophy. A perennius carpe diem. The day's too short to trade tit for tat. To be or not to be is not the question. Tacticians well versed in theatrics like thematic apperception tests. I don't see this or that. I see this and that. I see it all in pre-retrospection. But my theory is that I wasn't supposed to see anything at all. Come one, come all to the theater of the absurd. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to your master of ceremonies, the thespian of word, MC Travis. And that's that. Don't worry, if I change it, you'll be the first to know. Welcome to a world where everything's topsy-turvy, where the reflection talks back to you and you rely on temporal power alone just to wake up in the morning, where you have to speak with tact just to get where you're going because the doors tower 20,000 feet above your head and tend to think that you're just not worth moving for, where the tiniest touch can impart massive vibrations of pain or pleasure through your entire being at the choice of your friendly attacker. Please, for a toss-up determines your final destination. It flips once, it flips twice, 3 times, that's thrice, that's nice. Time passes, bridges crumble, castles turn to dust, pacifists have their tour de force, trees tower like skyscrapers, and yet it keeps flipping, and time keeps slipping by, wafting through fingertips, and still nothing's happening. Patience is a virtue, but curiosity is an equally redeeming trait. So you take a chance, trying your hand at fate, a trillion revolutions of the coin later, you land a touch, torsade de point, a twisted light bursts through your solar plexus, spiked with the energy of life, and the wheel keeps on turning, transpiring death with every breath, recycling, breathing in life, differentiating transcendentalist and Ubuntu humanitarians, fighting with tools, uniting, utilizing inner strengths that some of us have been hiding, blinded because the light has remained unguided. Uniformed unicyclists ushering his use of fruct utopia like, brother, may I borrow your surplus fruits in return? You always have a place to transplant your roots, and that's understood without any unnecessary utterances. This isn't totalitarianism. It's not utilitarianism. It's not a utopian socialism. Understand that life can't be defined by isms, but it can be expounded upon as long as one does not forget what's underneath the piles of law books and doctrines. Look up. Pieces of paper drifting from the sky, millions of different letters, different languages, different words, different views, different uses, different times, distant times, but scattered amongst the leaves of blank sheets. And there's one at the back of every book, and that's billions. So that's plenty of unused space for mistakes and rewrites, but also plenty of space to get it right. But not much time left to set things right. Understood? Good. Unforget-me-nots passed out, but uncovered operatives wearing up, covered up vests and leftovers from breakfast there. Vigilant, but we're vigilant. I'm willing to ante up that they'll break fast. It's the difference between vigilantes and revolutionists. Vigilantes take the law into their own hands. Revolutionists use their own hands to change the law. The law, one claims victory against others, one claims victory over oneself. There's a reason why the V sign is the same as the peace sign. Veni, vidi, vici, life's peachy. When you ignore the anguish and the cries of the vox populi, when you have all the power in the world to vanquish your foes, and no one has the tenacity to look you in your eyes, lift their voice and fight for veracity. The truth is out there, only we barely hold on to it tacitly. The event horizon is vast, but alas, we inherit the chastity belts of our forefathers until eventually we don't even notice the welts. Young lovers settling down, expecting a miracle child ready to give them the world. She chooses to drop her dreams for now, but she's very happy it seems. But her boyfriend barely makes enough to break bread, and he's become violent from a lack of sleep, and so they part ways, and baby can hear mama weeping, and child support only makes it through once or twice a month instead of weekly, and neither of them barely have enough to break pay rent, let alone the light bill, and life just seems so viscous when you're trapped in this vicious cycle. And so we recycle in with the good and out with the bad, take the game off versus and set it to co-op. No more politics by the numbers. It's not red versus blue, that's just a cop out. There's virtue in all of us just waiting to pop out, wading through hell, and how water's dropping out cannot be part of the vernacular. Cardiovascular explosion, my chest imploding, unloading into sticks of dynamite filled with peace prizes and wise words planted in the cracks of the eastern and western wall, somewhere between church shootings and mall bombings. Growing in the rubble is a desert lotus, a gathering of children, widows and raids alike, woeful weakened warriors willing an anti-war protest attesting to nuclear proliferation, soldiers of misfortune in the womb, 4,000 starving children born just to go boom, dying mothers left to lick their own wounds, tears shed in a pool of blood to see which one's thicker, but no one will ever know they spike the water supply with liquor, keeping the people drunk so that they keep missing the bigger picture. So if you've got money to blow, then throw that shit right out the window, because some people are still waiting for that second wind to come through, and I'm calling for worldwide disarmament. Lay down your arms, whatever they may be they your guns, your money, or your words, be they bombs or taxes and laws. Lay down anything that wields power over your fellow man, be it government or religion, state or church. Lay your weapons down and leave them be for now. Think about things for a while before you pick them back up. It is then you'll have learned to use them not as weapons, but as tools. And again, some will find themselves better off without them than they were before, because war is over if you want it. In order to propagate peace, we must forget about power. Legalize weed and abolish slavery. I mean, come on, man. Who can live off of $9 an hour? That's just a waste of paper. Speaking of killing trees and the consequences of our actions, can't you see that all along war has been the biggest weapon of mass distraction, and everybody's reaction is like WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get, but like a xenophobe, I just don't get it. I'm an ex-Chrome Dome xenogenetic Xerox asking why for directions to Xanadu with zero fight, thirsting for love, singing Christmas carols while playing the xylophone in a show entitled The XYZ Affair. X-ray vision seeing past Yasks missing under the crowns of yarmulkes for the love of Emir. Woden's coming apart at the phrase. It seems the halls of Valhalla will finally know peace from the darkest yin arises the bright sun, so dense that it contains all the matter of the universe, and from the brightest yang arises a dark moon, so compressed that it is void of all matter. Every life has its chutes and ladders. That's just the duality of our existence. We don't need to live in frugality. We just need some assistance. The name was Elohim before it was Yahweh, so that is to say it takes two to make the world go round. So come with me on a sacred yatra to open up your chakras, and let these words be your mantra, and let the children's world of tomorrow be your yantra, and let this make it a new year without the same old resolutions. It's a year to resolve our issues with new solutions. Let all the zoo animals loose from the cages and from the prison cells and do something about the pollution. I know why the caged bird sings, and I know why the broken clock still rings, and I know why the time runs right out the door when it approaches the 0 hour. Heroes aren't born at the base of a ziggurat, the self-taught at the top of a tower, well-versed in many schools of thought, zero tolerance, every word of wisdom processed and applied to some facet of life in the zero-G environment. The zero option's the only option. They say one who believes in everything really believes in nothing. Well, I say one who believes in nothing really believes in everything. The zoinks! What do I know? This is coming from a guy who thinks his pinky is a brain, making socio-intellectual inquiries to an audience who thinks geniuses are insane. Outcasted, I'm outside looking in at me looking out, or am I on the inside looking out, me looking in? I don't know anymore. What an exciting zenith for all the little zodiac zombies. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me?